Good evening, everyone. My name's Bond, James Bond, and tonight we're going to be discussing one of the most iconic characters in cinema history. Myself, James Bond. I've been around for 50 years. Okay, I cannot do this show I cannot do that accent the whole way through. Fuck it, I'm just doing it as myself. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Paul English here, joined as always by Chris Miller. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good, Paul. And wait, just to let you know, I have my martini shaken, not stirred. Let me.
I got a few set up myself. I got a tux ready for everybody, and as I said earlier, it is welcome to episode 1 of Bond Month. All throughout the month of July, we will be discussing the one, the only James Bond. We will go through all 23 official Bond films through chronological order. So I'm really excited for this, Chris. What about you?
Oh, definitely. Oh, wait, who's going to dispute against this icon, man? He's 50 years old. He's still kicking his ass, and he's getting more bitches than most of them. more ladies, you know.
He's fucking every girl he finds. All right, guys. We were expecting to be joined by Caleb and Colton, perhaps later on. We shall see about that. In the meantime, it's just me and Chris again, but that's okay. I'm still gonna have a good time, and we are gonna get it started with the one that started it all, the first Bond film, 1962's Dr. No. This is the film that introduced us all to Bond, and it's the movie that you can make an argument started to establish Sean Connery as a superstar. This film, this is so much fun. The story's well done. The action's great. I've got a great, memorable Bond girl, and the one-liners in this film are delivered exceptionally well. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. Chris, talk to me about Dr. No.
Oh, Dr. No. Aha. The one that started it all. One that started one of the most lucrative and durable franchises in movie history. Yeah, It's a standard first installment. Very much produced on a low budget. But it is an enduring and adequate piece of entertainment. Of course, it started off the career of Sean Connery. Who became one of the top stars of his time. And of course, this is an enduring and very well done spy thriller. It's much more of it's more of a murder mystery than it is a traditional spy thriller because Bond trying to solve the murder of a fellow agent. But definitely, but it has some interesting. It does have some very interesting elements to it. I mean, like the players, especially, of course, it has some really standout action sequences in it, and Connery, does his best in this role, which would make him an icon, of course, and who can forget Ursula Andress?
Yes.
And that bikini. Whew.
Yes.
Blood pressure's rising. Oh my God.
Yes.
You got to check my blood pressure. Oh my Lord.
Oh, say what you want about Bond films. They always give you some eye candy, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got every pretty girls, one-liners. It is kind of dated today. The action sequences seem kind of raw in some parts, but I love, like I said, I love. I just like it has this sense of excitement to it, and of course, who can forget, those Ken Adams sets, man. It was just like some of the best in movie history. It's just like, I think, of course, and, I mean, not all the elements are in place, but it just give us a pretty good taste of what's to come.
Yep. This also we also see our first appearance of Bond's frequent American collaborator. We get the first taste of Felix Leiter in this film. And we also get our introduction of Spectre. Who will haunt Sean Connery throughout his entire run as Bond. I'm ashamed to say I cannot remember what Spectre stands for. Can you remember?
I believe I can. I believe Oh shoot! I forgot.
Yeah, I've only heard it twice. I can't remember the whole thing, but Spectre means bad news. Essentially, that's what it stands for.
I believe it stands. I believe it stands for. Oh, I forget. Ah, special counter. Oh shoot! Damn it! I believe it stands for Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. I believe that's.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let's try to remember. Wow.
That's just let's say they mean business.
Oh, that they most certainly do. And of course, you got the whole mystery man and behind the scene working, which we will find out who that is later. But overall, would you say not too bad a introduction for James Bond?
Not too bad an introduction. There are a few there are a few faults here and there. It could be a little bit, it could get some time to get words going, but it's pretty much a solid way to start the series.
Yep. Other characters that we get introduced to this time around is James Boss, which is M, and of course we get introduced to Miss Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a theory regarding Miss Moneypenny and why she is the only woman James Bond seems to not have interest in having sex with. And that is because she is the only woman he genuinely cares for. Like, if you think about it, Bond has no problem having sex with any woman he wants, but he always flirts with her. He never goes to the extreme. He never tries to go on a date with her. He never tries to have sex with her. I think it's because he has genuine feelings for her. Like, he genuinely cares about her. But that's just me, though. I mean, what do you think? Am I going too far with that?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not. It's just like, I don't think he sees her like a colleague. Yes, there's a bit of playfulness between them, like a little sexual. I don't know about sexual innuendo. They're just basically flirting all the time. They're colleagues, They do have a genuine respect for one another. I am not sure. It may just be purely platonic. I mean, maybe Bond has some kind of.
Yeah, just sometimes just the way he acts around. Like, obviously, sometimes it's playful for him, but other times, I don't know. I just get the feeling he seems to be like serious about it. But anyway, that's interesting fan theory I can have. So let's move on. Let's get to the second one. That is From Russia with Love. This one is definitely a better one than Dr. No. I enjoyed this one a lot more. The story is, again, well done. The one-liners are good. The settings are all nice. It's all good films. I particularly love this one because it has one of the better choreographed fight scenes in like the entire franchise, because it looks like a real fight. Like, this does not look rehearsed in any way. This looks like a real fight to the death. Like, it does not look practiced, rehearsed, or choreographed or anything like that, and that's why it is so well done. So it's one of the best fight scenes in all the Bond franchise, in my opinion. And of course, this also is the introduction of Q. I was watching a behind-the-scenes special on Q, and I can't remember the name of the actor who played him for so long, but he came on.
Llewellyn.
I'm sorry?
Desmond Llewellyn.
Desmond Llewellyn. God bless him, man.
Mm-hmm.
He comes on set, and originally he's acting all like respect, like, "Oh, Mr. Bond, how are you?" But I guess Broccoli told him, no, listen, you're supposed to hate this guy. He destroys all your equipment. He wrecks everything. He never treats you right. Like, you're supposed to despise this guy. And like, oh, so like, oh, grow up, 007. Yes, that's right. So yes, we first meet Q in this film, and we get another great Bond film. So yes, From Russia with Love, very good film. I enjoyed it. What about you?
Oh, definitely. I feel this is a much more superior movie than its predecessor. The budget has increased a little bit more. The action sequences have a bit more polish to them. Of course, Sean Connery is more relaxed in this, than ever. I mean, as this character, I love the girls. The locales, it has an intriguing plot to it, and it's well directed, And then, it has some great set pieces to it. Of course, you just mentioned the fight between, Bond and Red Grant on the train is one of the most exciting and well choreographed fights in film history. Just like that thing kind of puts you on the edge of your seat, and just like and Red Grant is just an intimidating menace in this, And then he's brilliantly played by Robert Shaw, because he will go on to become Quint in Jaws. But yeah, this is the one. This is an example of the series at its best, most certainly.
Series at its best, perhaps, but we still got a few films to go, including the next one, perhaps the most iconic Bond film of them all, Goldfinger. The theme song is incredible. The story is well done. One of the best Bond villains of all time. We have Goldfinger, his obsession with gold, and the best named Bond girl of all time. A name so glorious, you have to say it with panache and just every bit of style. I don't even want to say it alone. Chris, can you please say this name with me?
Okay.
On the count of three.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Pussy galore.
Oh, good.
I must be dreaming. Oh my god. This great friggin' movie. Just so much fun. I loved it. And not to mention the action was friggin' awesome. And of course, you have one of the best Bond henchmen, Oddjob.
Ooh.
Oh, this guy left his mark. But one thing I heard was that he was one of the nicest guys on set. Like and no one had anything negative to say about him. I remember heard he was a very good guy on set. So yes, an incredible Bond movie. Definitely one of Connery's best, in my opinion. So I love Goldfinger. Chris, what about you?
What's there to say about Goldfinger that hasn't already been said? Oh my god!
I forgot to mention, this is I believe this is the first Bond film where we get to see the Aston Martin.
Yes,
the Aston Martin car.
Glory,
oh man,
glory! Oh my lord! Oh my goodness! What's there to say about Goldfinger that's always haven't been said? Come on. How could you not like this film? It's entertaining, it's exciting, and it's set. It had. It established a formula by which all Bond films will since follow, because you had the pre-credits title sequence. Of course, you have the song that goes with the title sequence. The opening title sequence, and Shirley Bassey, my goodness, man, she's got some pipes. Oh my
yes,
absolutely. And of course, Harris Okada as as Oddjob, man. Just like just ooh, it's just a chilling menace, chilling villain, for Bond to confront, and of course, Frobus Goldfinger, he was astonishingly charming in this character. Of course, I love Honor Blackman as Pussy Galore. Yes.
Love that name. Is there a better name for a Bond girl than that?
I don't even know. Oh, geez.
No, there is not.
Oh god.
Oh man. Pussy galore, yes.
I mean, but this movie isn't all. It's just a pure delight all around, man. It's just snappy with great one-liners. You got a great villain. You got superb action. It's just like everything like that. It's all across the board. Everything, all the elements that we know associated with Bond films have come to place in this movie. You can't. It's just like. What's a pure delight? How could you not consider this movie a pure delight? And it's one of the great, movie vehicles in history. Oh,
yes. And you brought up the one-liners in this film and how well they were executed. I'll be honest with you, that's something I'm like desperately missed in the Daniel Craig ones. Like they're not funny. It's like I understand you want to be like a serious film, that's fine, but have some brighter moment. Give me some one-liners or something. I mean, they don't have to be completely cheesy, but like give me something. I don't know, like even the I think even Timothy Dalton dropped a couple one-liners during his time, and Roger Moore did it. Pierce Brosnan did it. I mean, one of my favorite one-liners came from GoldenEye. She always did enjoy a good squeeze. Like that's just pure gold right there. But anyway, Chris, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about this, like maybe in the future when we get to Daniel Craig. But I mean, what do you think about the one-liners in the Bond? Like, you could make an argument that James Bond invented the one-liner in action films. Like, do you miss them in the new ones? Do you think that was a good part of what made the old ones so memorable?
I mean, it was really definitely the humor, the charm of these movies, and this is definitely, how relaxed they were. It's just what, brought audiences to coming back more and more. It's definitely, I mean, they seem quite, and, just like, and the performances they delivered, I definitely spot on. It's definitely something that was missed in the Craig films. As good as they are, you know, I miss some of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely miss some of the charm. I mean, it may be back for Spectre. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping they bring back the gun barrel sequence at the beginning.
The what sequence?
The gun barrel. How the James Bond.
Oh yeah. I realized that they did not. I mean, they did not have it in Skyfall, did they? I mean, they had it at the end of Quantum of Solace, but they didn't have it at all in Skyfall.
They had it at the end of Skyfall. We could just like, yeah, they had it. Yeah, at the end of that film as well. It's just I want them to go back to do it in
do it at the beginning.
Yeah, it's just like that's become quite a staple with the series.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. They need to do the gun barrel sequence at the beginning. Yes. All right, let's move on to the next one. That is Thunderball. I remember this one. I remember this being a solid film. The problem I had with Thunderball that there was really nothing that like stood out among it. Not that it was a bad film, but there's really nothing to me that made it memorable. I mean, it was a good Bond film. The action was good, the writing was decent, the one-liners were good. It's just nothing stood out for me in this film. Like I said, not a bad film, still an enjoyable film, but nothing stood out to me about Thunderball. So I don't have too much to say about it. What about you?
Definitely, Thunderball was definitely okay. The villains weren't as interesting as and as they were in the previous movies. It definitely has some great action to it. It has some great visual effects to it. It was like the most successful Bond film today at that point. But I felt maybe the storyline wasn't as interesting. And it was definitely, it's not, I just, like I said, they were well choreographed. I mean, the action sequences were well choreographed, but I didn't find it as entertaining as, the previous, one.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I will admit, and I really enjoyed, I really liked the underwater fight scene. I thought that was very cool. So I'll admit that stood out for me, but beyond that, there was really nothing that stood out for me about Thunderball. Mm-hmm. All right. The next one, however, oh my God. Not only is this hands down my favorite film of the Sean Connery era, this might be my favorite James Bond film ever, and that is You Only Live Twice. Oh my God, this film was just unfriggin' believable. And you know what? I can tell there was so much more effort put in this just because if you look at the first four Bond films, they were actually shot consecutively. Like they came out in consecutive years, 62, 63, 64, 65. This one took 2 years. It took 2 years. This one came out in 60. You Only Live Twice came out in 67. And oh my God, the effort they put into this was unbelievable. The story writing was top notch. The action was incredible. The set pieces, especially the giant base, was incredible. And the one-liners were still good. And just the action sequence in this film were just unfriggin' believable. From sword fights to gun battles, the epic scale of this, not to mention we finally get to meet the man responsible for Spectre and the man running it all, Ernest Blofeld. Whoo, man. So, I mean, just unbelievable action sequences. I got nothing negative to say about You Only Live Twice. That is probably my favorite Bond film of them all, and Sean Connery at his absolute finest to me. So I friggin' love You Only Live Twice. What about you? You do not seem as enthusiastic about this as I do.
No, I don't. I really did not like this film. I just like I didn't find the storyline interesting. Sean Connery seems to be still giving it his all as Bond, but I think he was a little bit tired of the series at this point. It's just like I found I found that I felt the plot was quite confusing at times. I felt it relied more on gadgets. Than most of the other films in this series. Just thinking about the idea of a rocket that swallows up spaceships. A little too out there. And then there's a little screen time for Blofeld. I felt they could have shown it a bit more. I felt Donald Pleasance was a bit menacing in the role, but they could have definitely shown more of him. But I wasn't. This is a part of the series. This is a film in the series that I wasn't really enthusiastic for. I'm not really. I wasn't really impressed with this installment.
Wow. Okay, little controversy here. Well, we may have a little controversy about this film, but the next one we're going to talk about has definitely been one of the more debated Bond films that started off such a negative beef. As you pointed out, yeah, I guess this was Connery's 5th Bond film, and I guess you could say he was getting tired because either he quit or they fired him, and he was replaced with George Lazenby, who made his only appearance as Bond in the 1969 film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, this film, when it first came out, I'm pretty sure it got like mostly negative reviews. Like a lot of people did not hated this movie. Myself included, when I first saw this film, maybe 5 years ago, I was not a fan of this film at all. I thought it sucked. I thought George did a terrible job. Like, this film was just bad. But recently, this film has been getting re-looked at. People are looking at it again with different viewpoints of view, I guess. And now many critics and fans are saying this is one of the better Bond films. And having watched it again recently, I have to agree with them. This is definitely, to me, one of the better Bond films. While the story is a little weak at times, especially in the first half, it picks up big time. The action sequences, especially in the second half, were very well done. I thought George Lazenby did a good job. And just everything about it was just thoroughly enjoyable. And once I learned a little more about how James Bond is portrayed in Ian Fleming's books, I gained a whole new appreciation for the ending of the film when Bond gets married, and then 5 minutes after the wedding, his wife's killed. Like, wow! Like when I first saw that, that's just like, come on, you can't do that. But now that I know how Bond is portrayed in the books, how Ian Fleming wrote him, I got a whole new appreciation for that. Well, how did Bond become this cynical, burnt-out, grizzled guy that he is in the books? Well, having your wife die on you would probably do that to you. So yeah, I gained a whole new appreciation for this film after learning a little more about Bond, and I now consider this one of the better Bond films. It was definitely well done, and if you have not seen this film in a long time, I highly recommend checking it out again because it's probably a whole lot better than you remember. So I know I rambled quite a bit on Her Majesty's Secrets there, but I had a lot to say about it. Chris, what about you?
It's just like, whew. I mean, this is definitely like, this is definitely at top of the top of the notch. Definitely. It's just like George Lazenby may not be, the best Bond. George Lazenby may not be the best Bond, but he's got one of the best action sequences to date, and it's got, I think Diana Ray plays one of the best Bond films, and it allows, it has a lot more, and this Bond has a lot more feeling,
Mm-hmm.
definitely than they has in the previous films. Definitely. I mean, George Lazenby, like I said, he's a little wit in the role, but the action sequences are top of the notch. It is definitely the most serious. In filming the series, and that snow sequence, that's action sequences in the snow. That was
damn good.
damn good. Oh my lord! And that ending just rips you to shreds. I mean, oh my lord.
Yes, it does.
Oh my lord! It's just, definitely. It's just like I just couldn't believe it. You can see his Bond's pain, man. Definitely. This is like but this is like definitely one of the best entries in the series. And it's just like everything is on point. I mean, they definitely did craft a really good installment with this entry.
Yes, it did. One other thing I want to bring up concerning On Her Majesty's Secret Service, there's this particular line at the beginning of the film that George Lazenby says, and I think it's noteworthy to me because it seems to support a long-standing theory that people have about James Bond, and that is James Bond is not a real person. It is a code name given to a bunch of, I guess, secret agents in the British Secret Service. Like, they're just given the code name of James Bond. And the line is, after he rescues Tracy for the first time, beats up a few guys, and then Tracy just runs away, gets into her car and runs away. George just kind of looks with this smile on his face. He goes, "It's never happened to the other guy." Wait, are you talking about Connery? What other guy are you talking about? So I think that line is noteworthy because it seems to lend credence to that theory that there is no real James Bond. It's just a code name. Chris, are you aware of that theory in place? And do you think that line lends some credence to it? Or do you think am I pulling at straws here?
That theory has been around for years. It may be believable to some people, but to me, that that may be, I don't know. I'm not trying to make a crack at people. That may seem a bit ridiculous. I think I see it more as an in joke, than a plausible, fear, and this is a impossible theory. This is the whole idea that fans believe that Bond is not a real person. He's like a code name or something like that. But I'm not seeing anything. I don't really believe that would be the case.
Yep. All right. As we all know, this was George Lazenby's only appearance as James Bond. He left the franchise after this film. Now, I explained why that happened back in episode 4 of our show. So if you want to hear the reason for that, go back there and check that out. So I'm not gonna explain. I won't waste your time explaining again why he left after that one, because if there are those of you who've been following us since the beginning, you know why. And if you don't, well, the explanation's up there. And explaining again would take too much time. So let's move on to the final. But in any case, George Lazenby was kicked out, and Sean Connery was brought back in for his final official performance as Bond, as well as the final film that we will discuss today, and that is Diamonds Are Forever. This one is probably today like Bond at his meanest. Like, he starts at the beginning, he's just like torturing and everybody, trying to figure out where Blofeld is. We can get revenge for Tracy's death. I mean, that's how he started off. That way, he kind of mellowed out a little later on, but you can clearly tell this was Connery was playing playing Bond a little differently than he had before. He was much more serious, almost angry. So I enjoyed Diamonds Are Forever. I thought it was, Diamonds Are Forever. That's the name of the movie. So yeah, it was a solid Bond film. Not too much to say about just that. I didn't think it was a good film. The story was good. The action was nice. It was a solid Bond film, solid typical Bond film all around. Chris, Diamonds Are Forever. This was Connery's last official appearance. Did he? How'd he do?
Oh boy, I wish I had something good to say about this film, but I don't. It's just silly all around. I mean, the plots are a bit complex. I criticize it. Did it really need to be complex? Connery kind of, I don't know, sleepwalking, but I don't know, he may seem bored in the role. I mean, he kind of moved on. At that point being James Bond. I wasn't really impressed with the Bond girl played by Jill St. John. Some of the characters, seem a bit buffoonish at times. It's just, it's just a campy, really, satisfying and really, really weak installment in the series. It's just like it's not something. It's not like I'm not really a fan of this. It's just, I didn't enjoy it. It's not enjoyable for me. It's just really too cheesy for my taste.
All right, so in other words, the Connery era went out with a whimper, not a bang for you.
Whimper. Yeah.
All righty then. So with that said, that is going to wrap up episode 1 of Bond Month. Chris, it was a pleasure having you here to discuss this.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed talking about this with you, man. Oh my goodness.
All right.
I think we may have some later additions. We're trying to get in on the conversation.
I think we've run out of time just because, we've talked about all the Bond films that we need to. So if you guys, there's anything else you would like to say, now would be the time. Otherwise, we should wrap it up.
Oh boy, yeah. This is like to start off to one of the better. One of the better franchises in the series. I mean, one of the great franchises. There's just so much expectation for Spectre. And Sam Mendes. Oh boy, definitely. Sam Mendes. What he did with Starboard was absolutely fantastic. Ooh, I can't wait to see how they do Spectre in this movie because they seem like a shadowy, very, very sinister organization. They did play them for cheese, and in
the Connery films.
In the Connery films,
All right. So yeah, I can't wait to see how they redo Spectre this time around. I'm sure it'll be much more serious than they were in this film. All right, guys. So that's gonna wrap up episode 1 of Bond Month. Next week, we will be discussing all 7 films we'll be discussing the Roger Moore era. This guy did 7 films, the longest tenured Bond of them all. Did it for 12 years. So we'll probably have some more material. Hopefully, we'll have some more people joining us next week. So until then, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a good day.